Hey, this is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and this week I'm doing something a little different. I'm about to show you how to build a Samurai third member to go into a Geo Tracker. Let's go. What I have here is a Suzuki Samurai third member, and I'm gonna weld this little bracket right here onto the nose of it. Basically, it's these two pieces right here and a couple of these, and you make that bracket and you weld it on this third member, and whenever you bolt it into a Suzuki Sidekick or a Geo Tracker in the first gen trackers, it allows you to put a locker in there. I've built these before, and I'm gonna show you how to do it today. Let's get a flashlight and I'll crawl underneath this tracker and show you what I'm talking about. So this is the first gen Geo Trackers, and everybody knows they have IFS front ends, and you basically destroy those front thirds and what they call the banjo, the front pumpkin, because you get to rocking them big old 32s back and forth, and it ends up cracking the housing. Here we are underneath the vehicle, and this is what I'm talking about. This is your third member, and these bolts right here, they end up cracking this housing, or worse, they end up cracking the whole banjo. And it's because as you're going forward and reverse, throwing it in gears back and forth, it'll end up cracking that. And it gets worse if you put a locker in it, or if you raise these things up and you put like a bind on the system. So what we do is we put a Suzuki Samurai third member in place of this aluminum housing, and you just throw your gears, your ring and pinion, into the Suzuki Samurai third member. And putting that Suzuki Samurai third member in there toughens up the whole system. And you can kind of game the system by leaving the aluminum front housing in there and just throwing the third in there and bolting it down so it can't move. I've got 32-inch ag tires on my old Geo Tracker that I sold to my friend Trey, and we haven't broken a banjo yet. I got these brackets from Luke Edmonds on Facebook, and he's built me a few of them. He no longer makes them. He just did this as a favor because I've bought a few from him. But this setup is going to my friend Dusty Vaughn. He's a paraplegic, and he owns a Suzuki. He's got a little tracker. I'm pretty sure it's a first gen. And he wants to put a locker in that front end. I said, Bubba, you're just gonna break CV axles and you're gonna break, you know, housings and stuff. So he asked me to build him one of these. So here we are. It's finally coming down to the day. Putting some time aside, and we're gonna build this thing up for him. So everybody knows if you're welding mild steel to cast, you've got to heat that sucker up to like 400 degrees and bring it down slow, otherwise your welds will crack. I'm not a super good welder, but I've done this before, and what I do is I get a weed burner and a propane tank, and I get this sucker hot. We'll get it up to 400 degrees, and then what I do is I take that weed burner after I weld it, and I keep kind of heating it up and let it come down slowly. And then you can wrap these in like a welding blanket or whatever and let them kind of sit overnight. That's to keep your welds from cracking, and they will crack if you don't do this the right way. Anyways, enough of me jabbering. Let's get to work. I'm not a super good welder. I can't lay dimes, but I can melt metal and it'll stick. It might be ugly, but a grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't. Let's go. All right, so I got my welder all set up. It's ready to go, and I'm gonna get that propane turned on and get that weed burner going, and I'm gonna start heating this sucker up. And I went and measured the other third member in the rig, and it's exactly 1 inch from here to those bolt holes to that little nub that I was pointing out. So I went and made a mark on the steel, and it's going to go right there. And probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tack this. Those tacks will last throughout this process because I'm just gonna end up welding over it. But I'm gonna tack it down real quick and then we're gonna start heating this up. All right, so we welded it on. That's my bird shit trash welds. And took me a bit to get used to the welder. But like I said, I'm not a welder, and I can melt metal. Anyways, that puts those 2 bolt holes where they belong. What I've been doing is I've been sitting here with this. You want to keep it around 400 degrees and then just bring it down slowly. So got my little weed burner here and I just throw some heat on it every once in a while and I just keep doing it. And I'm gonna bring it down real slow over about an hour. And those welds shouldn't crack. We'll see. I'll just keep doing that. So I didn't come up with this idea of a Samurai third member and a Geo Tracker or Suzuki Sidekick to strengthen it up. I didn't come up with it. Somebody else did. I did a video a few years ago whenever I built my tracker on how to put a Suzuki Samurai third in a Geo Tracker. And I get a lot of questions from that. Basically what's gonna happen is Dusty's been asking me about building that front end, and he's been asking me a lot of questions. And what he doesn't know, and by the time this airs, he'll be receiving this, I'm sending him the locker. This is a Spartan locker that came out of my front end whenever I did my E-lockers. So I'm gonna send him this third with this welded on bracket. He basically, Luke Edmonds, I had asked him to build another one. He was cutting out some other items at work and he said, yeah, I'll cut a few out for you and I'll send them to you. So he sent it to us for free. I think we paid for shipping. And so the third member I got for free. The brackets I basically got for free. I paid for shipping. And I paid for the Spartan locker, but you know, it came out of my rig, so it's slightly used. And I'm gonna put all this together and I'm gonna send it to Dusty. He doesn't even know that I'm sending this to him for free. He keeps on asking me how much shipping, and I'm like, well, I gotta get the weight or whatever. But I told his brother a while back, I was like, give me his address and I'm just gonna send this thing to him. So, seems like a really good dude that likes to help other people out, and talk to his brother about him. And so we're gonna help him out. We're gonna send him a free locker. All he has to do is put his ring and pinion in it and stick it in his rig. Boy, I busted out the grinder real quick and cleaned them welds up. Looks pretty good now. I won't feel bad about sending this to him. All right, I just wrapped this thing in a blanket. I got it down to like about 190, 180 degrees. So wrapped it in a blanket. I'm just gonna let it sit there. I'm gonna come back tomorrow and paint this sucker, get it ready to ship out. All right, this is the next day. And did a little grinding on it. No cracks. It made it through the heat cool process, so we're gonna send it. Looks really good. All right, I'm gonna throw a little coat of paint on this thing, and we're gonna get it all wrapped up, and we're gonna send it out to Dusty. Y'all know what's about to go down. Let's do this. Man, that came out good. Shoot, boy. Professional. Didn't even get no paint on the inside. All right, here's the business. We're gonna send him this carrier with a locker in it. It's got a Spartan locker in it. And he's gonna, I don't know what ring and pinion he's gonna end up with. I think he's got 462s. He said that he wanted to change it to 513s. So I don't know. But I'm gonna send him all of this with that welded on bracket. And I don't know if y'all are interested in those brackets. Luke Edmonds sent those to me a few months ago, and he's no longer making them, and I don't really want to step on his business, so I'm going to reach out to him and see if he's okay with me having those made locally. And if you want a set of those brackets, comment down below and let me know if you're interested in those, and maybe I'll see about getting them made here locally. All right, well, if you watched my video all the way to the end, leave a comment. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how my welds are trash. Anyways, thanks for watching my video.